Live from Omaha, Nebraska, it's the title match in women's college volleyball. The 2-seed Stanford Cardinal looking loose and getting ready to take on the top seed, number 1 Nebraska, playing close to home and getting their game faces on. There's no place like home for the holidays. With 17,000 of your closest family and friends. Tonight, Nebraska hopes to entertain a record crowd in Omaha with a much-anticipated NCAA championship performance. National Player of the Year Sarah Pavin and the Huskers have been number 1 all season, and their big night has finally arrived. The hottest team in the tournament is ready for a chilly reception. On Stanford's wish list is a record 7th national title. The Cardinal can wrap it up tonight with another scintillating performance from All-American Cynthia Barboza. So join us on this festive occasion as 2 of the top programs in volleyball history show us why it's better to give than to receive. It's number 1 versus number 2 for the national championship. The NCAA Women's Volleyball Championship presented on ESPN2 by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. They have combined to win 7 of the last 12 NCAA titles, and they've never faced each other in the final until tonight. It's number 1 Nebraska and number 2 Stanford. A couple of nights ago in the semis, Nebraska a winner over UCLA, and Stanford dismantled the defending national champions from Washington to advance. Welcome to Omaha. I'm Beth Mullins along with Heather Cox. And Heather, it wasn't too long ago that you were playing in a national championship match at the University of Pacific. Everybody tonight watching Nebraska, how will they react back in the spotlight and in front of this huge home crowd?
Well, Beth, I think the million-dollar question is, will Nebraska be tight? And I think the answer will dictate who wins this match. They certainly came out tight in the semis in game 1. John Cook said it was Nebraska's worst game of the year. The question is, were lessons learned from a year ago? We'll see by watching Player of the Year Sarah Pavin. She told me not a day's gone by she hasn't regretted not demanding the ball more when her teams needed her. She took care of that in the national semifinal win, and she plays big in the big matches over her career, averaging more than 4 kills per game in NCAA tournament matches.
Well, they'll be taking on a Stanford team that knows a thing or two about big matches. They may not feel right at home in this building, but they are certainly at home playing for the national championship.
Definitely so. Stanford has a chance to make history tonight by winning its 7th NCAA title, more than anyone else in tournament history. And John Dunning has a chance to become the first coach to win 5 titles. To do that, they'll be led by sophomore sensation Cynthia Barboza, already establishing her legacy as one of Stanford's greats, and has made a remarkable recovery from ACL surgery on her knee less than a year ago to lead this team to the national championship match.
The desire and the drama building, the passion and the pride on display. Stanford and Nebraska for the national championship.
The NCAA Championships on ESPN. The Women's Volleyball Championship, presented on ESPN2 by Enterprise, is brought to you by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. We'll pick you up. And in part by Phillips Norelco. Sense and simplicity.
The fans filing into the Quest Center, sold out for the 2nd time at this tournament. Even more at stake tonight for the national championship. Number 2 Stanford and number 1 Nebraska. Let's meet the starters for the Cardinal.
Hi, I'm Angie Namani, a senior outside hitter from Bloomington, Illinois.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Barboza, sophomore outside hitter from Long Beach, California.
Hi, my name is Kristen Richards. I'm a senior outside hitter from Orem, Utah.
Hi, my name is Francie Gerard, and I'm a junior middle blocker from Brooklyn, New York.
Hi, I'm Feluca Acaranowo, a sophomore middle blocker from Plantation, Florida.
Hi, I'm Bryn Kehoe. I'm a junior setter from North Bend, Ohio.
Hi, I'm Jessica Fishburne. I'm a libero from Los Angeles, California.
John Dunning, 21 years on the sidelines, 6 of those at Stanford. He is going for his 5th NCAA title here tonight. Now let's meet the starters for Nebraska.
My name's Sarah Pavin. I'm a right side hitter, and I'm majoring in biochemistry.
Hi, I'm Danny Mancuso, and I'm an outside hitter. My first job was selling popcorn at the College World Series.
I'm Jordan Larson. I'm an outside hitter. My high school graduation class was 45 people.
Hi, I'm Tracy Stalls. I'm a middle blocker from Denver, Colorado.
Hi, I'm Corey Cooper. I'm a middle blocker, and I have a cat named Husker.
My name's Rachel Holloway. I'm a setter from Franklin, Tennessee.
My name's Danny Busum. I'm a libero, and my goal is to be an anchor on ESPN.
John Cook in his 6th season. His first year, he won a national championship in 2000, looking for his 2nd and the program's 3rd ever. No one in college volleyball has had a better record over the last 6 years than John Cook has had with the Huskers. Rachel Holloway, the redshirt freshman from Franklin, Tennessee, will serve it up to start this one out. Nebraska in white and Stanford in the dark jerseys. And the kill for Kristen Richards gets Stanford on top first. NG Namani looking for her 2nd national championship. We've talked about, well, the Huskers are here for the 2nd year in a row. There are 5 players on the Cardinal side of the net that played in the national championship match 2 years ago as Nebraska ties it up.
And so important to watch Nebraska and see if they're tight. They certainly were in the national semis. It took them about a game and a half to start playing Husker volleyball.
Particular the server right here, Jordan Larson, who was not sharp in last year's final. And they will need better things from her this time around.
Nor was she sharp in the national semis until game 4. That's a huge sign. She missed her first 3 serves in the semis.
The set to Danny Mancuso. Now Stanford dumped over by Bryn Kehoe.
Stanford. Back to serve for the Cardinal, Kristen Richards.
Kristen Richards, the senior from Orem, Utah, playing through the pain. She's got a couple of bad knees. Has really taken a pounding over the course of her career as Stanford picks up another point.
My guess, though, Kristen's not feeling a thing as a senior. Just one more match. You'll do anything it takes, regardless of the pain that you're in.
Not only the talent, but John Dunning loves the strong personality that she brings to this team. One of their fearless leaders. And the big swing from the left-hander, Sarah Pavin.
And already, Beth, we are seeing a different Nebraska team. Not the team that John Dunning wanted to see take the floor. Sarah Pavin was tight in game 1, so tight that John Cook took her out instead of letting her use her explosive jump serve to try and calm her nerves.
Kehoe looking to establish Cynthia Barboza, and she does.
Cynthia Barboza, point Cardinal.
Faluka Akinrawadu, the 6'3" sophomore from Plantation, Florida, now will serve.
Hard to believe she never played club volleyball, which in this sport is key to getting college scholarship. It's kind of like a top basketball player having never played in the AAU programs. It's just what you do when you're a volleyball player, but Akinrawadu a little bit less developed because of it.
Sarah Pavin, yesterday named the National Player of the Year. Long on that attempt. Nebraska's had the last 2 in a row now. Christina Hoteling won it a year ago, and they will be together for John Cook next season. Both will be back. They'll have 2 National Players of the Year on the roster. Bryn Kehoe serves for Stanford. Mancuso gets the kill.
And if you're wondering where Christina Hoteling is, the Player of the Year, why she's not on the court, it's because she's redshirting due to both shoulder and knee surgery in July. This has got to be tough for her because it was a decision she made. Didn't think she'd be healthy enough to last the season, so decided to take care of business, be ready for next year.
Rachel Schwartz will come on to serve. Kehoe took that one out of the net to Gerard. Stalls with another kill.
Hoteling's theme all season has been to serve her team, doing everything she can from the bench, keeping them light here, which is critical in this match.
In front of a packed house at the Quest Center in Omaha, and Stanford having a couple of passing issues here early on. That one a little tight again for Kehoe.
And the reason that John Dunning's squad beat Washington in the semis so easily was because of its serving and passing game. They need that same type of ball control tonight if they want to win.
The ace from Schwartz, the sophomore from Lincoln. A former walk-on. She was a ball girl when the Huskers won the national championship back in 2000. And here she is getting an opportunity to put the uniform on in the finals. Keogh, the back set, sliding behind Aaron Waller for the kill.
Waller just the person to settle this team down, as is Cynthia Barboza. This is a team playing in a very intimidating environment, and clearly it's affecting both their serve and pass game early. The biggest crowd in the history of volleyball, more than 17,000 fans, the majority of them in Husker red. That's an intimidating place to play.
Now it's Stalls, the junior from Denver, Colorado. She's been a starter ever since she arrived on campus. Digs that one up. Holloway looking for Pavin out of the back. The defense was there for Stanford. Richards dug up, overpass, and a whistle will go against the Huskers.
Point Stanford. Into the Cardinal lineup, Feluca Akinradawo. Back to serve, Jessica Fishburne.
Jessica Fishburne will serve, the sophomore libero. Once again, the libero has the different colored jersey on than the rest of her teammates. Cooper, the freshman, for Nebraska. Now Waller tools the block for a Stanford point.
Waller off to a great start for Stanford. The more offensive balance Stanford can have, the better. Bryn Kehoe doing a nice job setting the entire net.
Game one, best 3 of 5 for the championship. Games are to 30, have to win by 2. Game 5 would go to 15 if we get that far. And the kill for Jordan Larson, the sophomore from Upper Nebraska, population of about 800. There are several small-town Nebraska natives in the starting lineup for the Huskers. In a state that obviously is a little volleyball crazy this time of year.
Kill by Aaron Waller.
Waller with another kill. That's her third already, Heather.
She's off to a great start. She's so versatile, and she's really hard to defend because of her high energy. She plays 3 rotations across the front row, then goes to the bench, and a back row specialist, in this case, NG Namani, comes in. Better ball control, quicker scrambler type player.
Cooper, the freshman from Amarillo, Texas.
Cooper, Point Nebraska.
Both of her parents were collegiate athletes. She enrolled early so that she could suit up for Nebraska. Went overseas with them this past summer. Akinradawo got just enough of that one.
And there you see her athleticism. Again, this is a player who didn't play club in high school, but you see her elevate and jump and just hang until the ball gets to her and do a paintbrush right off the fingertips.
Mancuso dug up. Namani to Barboza. Over on 2 and put right back by Akinradawo. Their block was so good in the semis, and another good start for Akinradawo here.
It all starts with a tough serve, makes it so much easier to get good blocking numbers because the offense is more predictable.
Holloway to Sarah Pavin, and she is rejected. Akinradawo and Barboza.
Something we need to keep our eye on for Nebraska. The freshman setter, Rachel Holloway, is a little bit timid about setting the middle, was certainly so in the semis. The emphasis for her tonight in the game plan, set the middle early.
Keeps it outside to Mancuso, who is long on the swing.
I talked to Charlene Johnson, the assistant coach who specializes with the setters, and said she talked right before the game to Rachel specifically about establishing that middle early, taking risks and not doing the simple, easy thing.
7-2 run right now for Stanford. Barboza looking to add to it. Larson out of the back for the kill.
Everything that Nebraska didn't do well in game 1 in the semis, they're doing well tonight, thanks in large part to Charlene Johnson, a great setter on the U.S. national team. Certainly done a wonderful job getting the freshman setter ready for this match.
Along with Lee Mays, the 2 Husker assistant coaches. Barboza, block got a piece of it. Stalls had to pop it across. Whoa, Akinradawo.
Point Cardinal.
Another big swing from Feluca.
And volleyball fans getting exactly what they wanted, Beth. Everybody talked yesterday and today about, I just want to see a good match. I want to see both of these teams playing to their potential, and early, that's exactly what we're seeing.
Holloway. Double contact called on her, trying to feed it again outside to Pavin. Timeout midway through game one with Stanford up early. Stanford leading Nebraska midway through game one of our national championship match. And Nebraska went all the way to China during the offseason. John Cook said, I need to get my team out of the comfort zone to prepare them for this year's NCAA tournament.
Well, they tried to figure out what didn't go well last year when they got upset in the championship. And John Cook knew that in order to get back to Omaha to play for the title, they'd have to win on the road in a regional, something Nebraska had never done. So he decided to put his team in uncomfortable situations. So he took them to Beijing. They were in situations where they had to play in gymnasiums when the opposing coach was smoking. They had to eat food they'd never eaten before. Just everything he could think of to get them in an uncomfortable situation to learn how to win, even when it's not the perfect situation.
And it paid off. They had to go on the road down to Florida to play in the regional. And against Minnesota in the region final, they went down 0-2 and rallied to win the match to come back here to Omaha. That also something they had never done in tournament history, rally from 2 down.
And John Cook said every decision he's made since they lost that match exactly a year ago has been based on getting this team prepared for here. He's basically had every trick he could think of to get his team ready.
Bryn Kehoe looking for Gerard, sliding behind for the kill. That is the Chancellor, Harvey Perlman. That's his official university Christmas card this year, and it's with the volleyball team.
Well, and he's taken on the theme that the team adopted all season, which was the pyramid of success based on John Wooden's original pyramid. And, you know, Tracy Stalls told me that it's all about a new definition for success on this season. For them, what determines success is whether they can walk out of the gym satisfying, knowing they gave their best of their hearts, minds, attitudes, and efforts. She said, you know what, winning and losing are just the outcomes of that. We need to build on this principle and this pyramid of success to get there.
The ace, and again, coming from a different member of this Nebraska team, it's Rachel Schwartz doing a good job behind the service line.
She's very focused, very effective. You see how much movement there is on that ball. It's a jump float serve. You've got to get underneath it, move your feet quickly.
Richards handles it to Kehoe. Francie Gerard, the junior from Brooklyn, New York.
Gerard playing on some very tender legs, has a right shin splint for the last couple weeks. Has certainly affected her jump count and her ability to play.
Stanford by 3. Nebraska trying to chip away at that lead. Tracy Stalls gets the kill.
And already Rachel Holloway trying to establish the middle. Her teammates actually went to her about the middle of game 2 in the semis and said, you got to go to our big gun. Get the ball to Stalls.
And she responded with a career-high 17 kills in the semifinal after she did not have any in game 1, and she was spectacular.
Those numbers are so impressive. Had just 2 hitting errors the entire night. That's after 0 kills in game 1. They finally established their middle attack.
One of their co-captains this year. Holloway looking to Jordan Larson.
Net violation.
And a net violation called on Stanford. A point to Nebraska. Now the crowd on their feet as the Huskers have tied it up. Game 1 of our national championship, Stanford and Nebraska all tied up, and John Dunning, 21 years as a collegiate coach. Prior to that, an unassuming math teacher and basketball coach.
Yeah, just a high school teacher from Fremont High School. And when Title IX passed, they decided they needed a women's volleyball program. They went to Dunning, who had seen 1 volleyball match in his entire life when he was a student at San Diego State, and said, yeah, I'll give it a try. Had never, ever played. Decided to study it, went to clinics, read books, and we'll tell you more after the play when I get my tongue together.
The kill for Stanford to grab the lead. And I thought it was interesting. Not only did he do a lot of stuff off the court, he actually got in the game as well.
Yeah, he decided the first year the most difficult position was probably middle blocker, so he decided to be a middle. Then thought, no, I think it's a setter that's the toughest. So then he was a setter, then an outside, then started going to clinics at UOP where Terry Liskevich was coaching at the time, befriended him. Then his wife, Julie, came in and and said, you know what, you're spending so much time on volleyball as a hobby. You either need to make your hobby your job, or you need to quit the sport and really focus on what your profession is.
Terrific rally right here. And the point will go to Nebraska to whistle against Stanford.
So Julie ultimately responsible for forcing John to make a decision and make volleyball not only his passion, but his hobby and his career. When Terry Liskevich left UOP for the U.S. national team, John stepped in, won back-to-back national titles in his first 2 years, and the rest is history.
Right now, Nebraska serving strong, and that allows Pavin to have the swing and the kill. And Nebraska goes on top.
I'm not sure I can think of any other coaches other than Michigan State and USC's Chuck Irby that became such great coaches having never played the sport.
Phenomenal, the rise for John Dunning, and certainly paid off at UOP, and now at Stanford, where he's won a couple of titles. They are going for their second in the last 3 years. The Pac-10, by the way, has won 5 in a row, so they are going for a 6th straight here tonight. Akinradawo rocking the Quest Center to tie it up.
And that's the difference between last year and this year. There you see her go behind the setter. Last year, I think she was uncomfortable doing that. Now can hit about 4 different sets behind the setter.
The first team All-American this season. With a monster match tonight, she could win the hitting percentage NCAA crown.
Steal it from Nana Merriweather, All-American from UCLA.
Jordan Larson getting the kill, and a point for Nebraska. Larson already with 4 kills here in game 1, more than she had the entire championship match a year ago.
And more importantly, no hitting errors, no service errors, hitting .625. What a difference.
She has come ready to go here tonight. Busboom looking for Pavin. The ricochet goes out of bounds.
And Busboom with those beautiful hands. There's a reason for it. A year ago was the starting setter for Nebraska in the national championship match. Now in her senior year has switched positions to the libero.
Keogh looking for Kristen Richards for the kill. Yeah, this Nebraska team, really remarkable how well they have done. We talked about them losing Hoteling. They also graduated 2 other starters. And then the switch from the 5-1 to the 6-2 meant 2 other starters had to switch positions or go to the bench this year.
Exactly. A year ago, they ran the offense with 2 setters, and a 6-2 had Maggie Griffin and Danny Busboom. This year, John Cook said what he made was the most difficult decision of his coaching career, to choose Rachel Holloway, the freshman setter, over the 2 experienced ones, but tells you why he's coaching. It's worked.
Only 1 other freshman setter has guided her team to a national championship, and she's over on the other side of the net. Bryn Keogh did it 2 years ago with the Cardinal, as they pick up the point to get back within 1.
In for Stanford, Francie Gerard.
There's Bryn, the junior from North Bend, Ohio. Was hurt last year with a hand injury, and then the knee injury to Barboza, and that really took the Cardinal out of the championship picture. Stalls, another kill in the middle.
Point Nebraska.
Nebraska's offense just getting better and better. They started out this match midway through game 1, hitting about 150, now all the way up to 300. Much more efficient in the second part of this game.
Tremendous balance, too. Holloway distributing to Stalls, Larson, and Pavin so far. And then the freshman into the net. A net violation will give Stanford the point.
Rachel Holloway, on the back of her practice jersey all season long, has worn the word fearless. She chose it for herself because she didn't want to be afraid. She wanted to take risks as a setter, and that's what she's doing so far in this match.
Looking for Stalls, push that one along. And Stanford able to tie things up again. Game is to 30, must win by 2.
Timeout, Nebraska.
And Nebraska will call the timeout. A capacity crowd anticipating that after setting a new record in the semis, we will break that and set another one here tonight with the largest crowd ever to watch a women's college volleyball match. And while we have a moment, let's get to know the National Player of the Year, Sarah Pavitt.
I'm Sarah Pavin, a junior right side hitter, and my teammates call me Pav or SP. My major is biochemistry, and I have a 4.0 GPA, and I was named the Division I Academic All-American of the Year. After graduating from Nebraska, I hope to play professional volleyball, and when I'm done with that, I hope to be a pediatrician.
There are Paul and Cindy Pavin from Kitchener, Ontario, and has spent some time with the Canadian national team.
And they certainly know a thing or two about volleyball. Paul was her club coach. Cindy played on the Canadian national team.
She has been spectacular over the course of her tournament career. Look at that, hitting .325 with over 4 kills per game.
She certainly has made a reputation of playing big in the big matches, and I think it's her international experience. Played at a very young age on the Canadian national team, and in fact is very used to playing against Cynthia Barboza in international tournaments.
It was fun to watch the crowd reaction in the semis. After she lost a point on her serve, they gave her a standing ovation because on her serve they had won the previous 10 straight.
This is a very knowledgeable volleyball crowd.
Here is Pavin out of the back, the tip. Barboza got it. Pavin able to keep it alive. Stanford in transition. Francie Gerard with another kill in the middle.
Francie Gerard, point Stanford.
Cardinal have been very good all year in tight games. They win about 80% of their matches, or their games rather, decided by 2 points or less. Over the course of the last 15 years, they are almost unbeatable when they win game 1 in the NCAA tournament. A sold-out Quest Center in Omaha, Nebraska. Beth Mullins along with Heather Cox, and 17,000 plus on hand to watch our national championship matchup. Stanford going for a 7th title, Nebraska for a 3rd, and the Cardinal right now on a 5-1 run to take the 2-point lead. They have been waiting all year, well, even longer than that, when they announced that this would be the host for the national championship. And Nebraska awfully tough to beat here in the state.
And they are now 6-0 here in the Quest Center. They thrive on the energy that these fans give. This event sold out within days of the tickets being released. In fact, there are scalpers out on the sidewalks. For the first time ever, I think, in the history of volleyball, the athletic director at Nebraska had to come in and talk to the team about not scalping tickets. John Cook and I joked that we probably never had to have that talk before.
Here's one of the reasons they're all hyped up. They thought they'd be celebrating a year ago, but they were denied. The Washington Huskies, prohibitive underdogs in the Alamo Dome, and they got out quickly and they steamrolled Nebraska. It wasn't even close. And after the championship was denied from that moment until tonight, that's all the Huskers have been thinking about and even talking about. John Cook told us the other day, hey, we haven't been hiding behind anything. It's been open discussion all year long about how we need to deal with it and prepare for this year's championship.
Having talked to both assistant coaches right before the match started, they both told me this team seems completely different than the team they saw in the locker room a year ago. In the locker room last year, they said they were giddy, they were loose, they were in awe, sort of deers in the headlight, having never been there before. And you saw in the open how focused and how quiet and subdued they were in the locker room tonight, and it seems to be the way in which they perform the best.
Since 1992 in the NCAA tournament, when Stanford wins game 1, they have a record of 50-2. They are closing in on game 1. And Nebraska trying to deny them. Mancuso with the kill.
Into the Husker lineup and serving, Rachel Schwartz.
And here comes their best server so far of the match. It's Rachel Schwartz.
Serving area 1, that's deep corner behind Bryn Kehoe. Gets it more to area 6.
Kehoe going to Barboza. They know who to look to when they need the big swing.
And meanwhile, Barboza, who's also their best server, goes back to the service line. Love that 32 attack, though. Good call by the offense.
She had 3 aces in the semi. Forces the overpass there. Busboom keeps it alive. Larson tried to roll it and got it over the fingertips.
Larson, point Nebraska. Into the Husker lineup is Corey Cooper, serving Tracy Stalls.
Larson now with 6 kills as Stalls will serve it up. Barboza setting Richards, got it down. Schwartz was calling that it would go out, and it came down to give Stanford a game point.
Back to serve, Jessica Fishburne.
They'll have 3 of them right here to play with. Holloway to Larson, off the block. There's one denied.
Jordan Larson, point Nebraska. Back to serve, Rachel Holloway.
Another game point for the Cardinal. On the receiving end now.
They're trying to attack Jessica Fishburne in that deep corner. They got her again.
Keogh, the quick hitter in the middle. Akinradawo can't get it down. Free ball. Keogh to Richards for the game, and she's got it.
Kill by Kristen Richards.
Stanford jumps on top as they take the opener, 30-27. Since '92 in the NCAA tournament, they are 50-2 when they win game 1, and they've got it here against Nebraska. The NCAA is throwing a party tonight in Omaha. With over 17,000 on hand, Stanford and Nebraska are setting them up and knocking them down. The Cardinal jumping out to the lead with a 1-0 lead now over the Nebraska Cornhuskers, the #1 seed in the tournament, playing just 60 miles from home, looking for the title. The Cardinal looking for their 7th national championship. 30-27, it goes to Stanford in the opener.
Stanford doing a really nice job defensively blocking. Nebraska historically known as a blocking team, but right now being outblocked 4-0. I think Nebraska needs to do a better job keen on the outside hitters, but Stanford's been so balanced, really everybody getting involved. And you look at that hitting percentage, if you hit .304 on the match, you are going to be tough to beat.
Our key matchup, Barboza with a couple of kills. Pavin with 4, hitting .375. Just 3 errors for Stanford, 10 hitting errors for Nebraska in the opener.
And Stanford just showing such balance, doing a nice job utilizing the middles. Francie Gerard getting involved. Kristen Richards, everybody getting a piece of the offensive action.
Around town talking to a lot of the coaches and the fans that were here for this tournament, the word efficient constantly was coming up when you talk about the way that Stanford played in the semis, and they did it again with Keogh's leadership in game 1 tonight.
Well, they just make it look so easy, and they're such a confident team, which certainly helps when you win game 1 because volleyball's such a game of momentum. 38-0 since '92 when winning game 1 in the regional semis, finals, and championships.
The other side of that, Nebraska dropped game 1 in both their semifinal matchup and their regional final this year and came back to win them both. And the Huskers grabbed the early lead here in game 2. It's best 3 of 5.
And Bryn Kehoe, you see the setter talking to the up official, Mary Blaylock. Only the captain is allowed to talk to the official at any time, complaining that Nebraska attacked the ball with a back row attacker. If you're in one of the 3 rotations in the back row, you can't attack the ball at the net.
Kehoe looking for NG Namani. Holloway to Pavin. And the left-hander gets the kill. Stanford did see a left-hander in the regional against Texas in Ashley Engel. And it was interesting talking with John Dunning about the high approach that Pavin has, similar to Ogana Namani, NG's sister, who played for them a couple of years ago.
Yeah, there's so many things that make Sarah Pavin difficult to block. First of all, her height, the fact that she's a lefty, and that she has such a high point of attack. So often she's hitting over the top of the block. So John talked to his team not only about blocking, but actually digging behind the block against Sarah Pavin. He thinks the best chance of stopping Sarah is to actually dig her, not block her.
3-0 Nebraska with Holloway serving. Keogh looks to Akinradawo. Brent right back to her, and the solo stuffed by the freshman Corey Cooper.
Here's a look at Ogana Namani, the player that you said such a high point of contact. Also the sister of Stanford senior star NG Namani, back row specialist. Ogana flying in all the way from Italy, where she's playing overseas professionally.
That, by the way, was the first block of the match for Nebraska on that last point, and now Stanford responds with the point. And here is Ogana's sister, NG, who was a member of that 2004 national championship team.
And she talks about that as being the highlight of her career, having the opportunity to win a national championship with her sister, the 4-time All-American, the two of them on the court at the same time to get that championship.
That'd be pretty good for the family, getting 4 titles if NG can get another one here tonight.
Kind of like the Odins did the same thing. Kim and Bev, of course, played at Stanford. Elena at Pacific. They have multiple titles in that family.
Kristen Richards serving down 5-2. Larson. Mancuso gets the kill. One of the seniors from Omaha, she and Danny Busboom have been incredible. They've only lost 10 matches over the course of their careers. 123 wins for this senior class. Both of them Nebraska natives. And another block off of Barboza's foot as Pavin and Stalls turn it back.
And Danny Mancuso just feeding off this Omaha crowd, has more than 70 cousins in the area. You only get 4 tickets when you're a player in the championship, so I don't know how many of those 70 cousins are here in attendance to get to watch.
She told the rest of them they had to fend for themselves. Opportunity here for the Huskers. Holloway to Pavin.
Net violation on Nebraska.
Net violation called on Sarah, so a point for Stanford.
Into the Cardinal lineup is Francie Gerard serving
Cook disagreeing with that call. Here is Akinradawo. Oh, overpass miscue there from Nebraska, and Gerard got the easy kill.
And if you're wondering why Rachel Holloway didn't jump up and try and block that ball, it's because she's a back row setter, so she can't attack the ball over the net.
Holloway to Pavin. That time Barboza not able to turn her hands back into the court. Ricochets wide.
Barboza wearing her natural #1. If you watch the semis, you saw her wearing number 14. Well, yeah, she's a Stanford Smarty, but she forgot her jersey. She left it at the hotel and had to wear 14 instead.
She had other things on her mind. Both of these teams have been taking finals this week while they've been preparing to play for the championship. Miscommunication there by Stanford. The good save. Wow. Oh. Mark that one down. Stanford got away with one.
As silly as the move was that Barboza made with leaving her jersey, that move was as smart as it gets, because Stanford could have reached up and touched that ball first, but then they would have had 4 contacts. It would have been illegal. Patience won that point for them.
Tough serve from Keogh. And that time Barboza able to redirect it to the middle of the floor for the kill.
And now a case where everything breaking in Stanford's direction, and they clearly have the momentum right now.
Holloway looking for Pavin. Popped up by Keogh. Richards to Barboza. Busboom diving in to keep it alive. Barboza off the fingertips. Point Stanford.
And Nebraska has changed its entire defense to try and stop Cynthia Barboza. She loves to hit high hands down the line, and Nebraska trying to make adjustments to stop that.
The assist went to Aaron Waller. Their middle blocker had the set on that one. Larson tried to push it over. Now Keogh setting up Francie Gerard. What an impact she's had so far.
Just a great angle, and John Cook is not one to sit on a timeout. If Stanford scores another point, don't be surprised to see him call a timeout. Great angle as Gerard works to keep the ball in front of her.
And the ace, it's a 7-1 run right now for Stanford as they grab the lead. Timeout, Nebraska.
That's their first timeout.
The big run from the Cardinal on the serve of Bryn Keogh. They took game 1, and now they've got the lead in game 2. Holiday lights of the old Market District here in Omaha with the horse-drawn carriage. The city and the fans tremendous hosts for this national championship tournament. The NCAA Women's Volleyball Championship presented on ESPN2 by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Stanford took game 1 and now on a 7-1 run to take the lead here in game 2. 3 straight points on the serve of Bryn Keogh. Stanford in the dark jerseys, Nebraska in white. Jordan Larson. Good defense from Richards. Holloway dumped it over. Waller. The bump to Barboza. Tried to go deep with it and missed it long.
Point Nebraska into the Husker lineup. And serving Rachel Schwartz.
Rachel Schwartz served very well in game 1 for Nebraska, and she is back out there.
Now watch the movement on the ball, just how much she gets that float to move as it crosses the net.
Barboza, Pavin there defensively. Setting the middle to Gerard. Missed that one long. Point Nebraska, and the Huskers regain the lead.
And amazingly, that's Gerard's first hitting error of the match. She's been the most efficient attacker for Stanford so far.
6 kills, hitting .455. Waller thumped that one down the line.
Boy, and John Dunning told us, he said Erin Waller could be an X factor. She's got so much movement on offense, it's very difficult to defend against her, and just brings a different energy to the court.
One of 3 former high school national players of the year. Along with Keogh and Barboza. They'll have another one next year. Stanford has reeled in the #1 recruit in the country, Alex Kleinman out of Southern California. Barboza serving, Stanford back on top. Joust at the net, won by the Huskers.
Boy, and I tell you what, it doesn't matter what size you are. If you're a setter, 99% of the time, you're going to win that joust. It's just setters have such a knack. The key to winning a joust, be the last person to touch the ball.
The strong wrists they have probably don't help either in those, or don't hurt in those situations. Waller with another kill.
Point Cardinal. Into the Stanford lineup,
as good as advertised. Tight in game 1 and back and forth here in game 2 for the national championship. As Nebraska is looking to become just the 2nd team ever to go from start to finish as the #1 ranked team in the country.
Boy, this crowd doesn't like it, and that was right in front of us, but that ball looked in as well.
Fishburne on the serve. Holloway goes to Sarah Pavin. That one got down, and that looked wide.
And the crowd applauds the line judge for the call.
Here's what we talked about, the pressure that Nebraska is under this year. They did not get the job done last season trying to go wall-to-wall #1. It's only happened one other time in the history of this tournament. And Nebraska has had to deal with that all year. And John Cook has used some unique, different ways to try and keep his team focused on the long term.
Indeed he has. He's done things like hang yo-yos in the locker room to let his team know that they're playing a little bit up, a little bit down at times. He's also used Robbie Gordon in NASCAR as a sign, saying, hanging a picture of Robbie Gordon in the pit, saying, we're just like NASCAR. We're fine-tuning each and every day to get to the ultimate prize.
Like we're a pit crew. And it's worked.
And then once the Big 12 season was over, a Road to Omaha sign was put up in that locker room to inspire and motivate.
The largest crowd ever to watch a women's college volleyball game on hand, many of them wearing Husker red here in Omaha as Kristen Richards gets the kill. A point for Stanford. And she will head beyond the service line. Top 10 all time at Stanford in digs, kills, and aces, a very versatile talent. As Pavin gets the kill, that's #8 now for Sarah.
But what I like about Nebraska's offense is everybody's getting involved. Pavin's doing a great job, but Jordan Larson leading everybody with 10 kills.
Keogh to Akinradawo, can't find the floor. Pavin will play it over. Crowd wanted the whistle against Stanford, and instead they get to cheer the block.
Yeah, but really anything goes on that first point of contact. It can be as ugly as you want. Anything goes. It's not until the second and third contact that they'll call it. Great double block that time by Nebraska to penetrate the net.
Keogh to Akinradawo. Chance now for the Huskers. In transition, they're rejected. Pavin, the tip.
That is such a smart play. Sarah Pavin has so much power, but at the last minute goes with the Statue of Liberty play when everybody's dug on their heels for power.
Timeout called by Stanford, Nebraska, trying to even up this championship match.
When I think of Nebraska volleyball, I think about the strong tradition.
I think of the power of red. I think of success. When I think of Nebraska volleyball, I think of the greatest fans in the country. I think of integrity.
When I think about Nebraska volleyball, I think of the incredible support system that we have.
A sea of red. I think of the Quest Center rockin'.
The Quest Center has been rocking tonight. Stanford winning game 1, but Nebraska with the lead here in game number 2. Best 3 of 5 to decide the national championship. Twice before, the Huskers have taken home the title in '95 under Terry Pettit, and in 2000 under current head coach John Cook. This is their 6th appearance in the final.
Terry Pettit started a tradition and growth in junior level and high school level volleyball that's just continued to escalate. And Nebraska volleyball has certainly set the standard.
He was here for 22 years. Back in the early days, they averaged under 1,000 fans per game, and there were probably 1,000 or so that were turned away at the door tonight trying to get in. 17,000 on hand. And looking to establish a new record that was set in the semis 2 nights ago, and Terry Pettit, a big reason why the crowd is the way it is here this evening.
Yeah, I can't imagine the pride that Terry Pettit must be feeling here right now. 694 wins. I played against him many times, and he's one of the all-time greats. Now living in Colorado Springs as a coaching consultant. Perfect job for him.
And we're hoping that Terry will be able to join us between games 2 and 3. Starting to lean towards Nebraska here in the second. Pavin with the big serve. Keogh looks to Richards out of the back, and she thumps it for the kill.
And right now, Nebraska in a situation where it needs its middle blockers, both of them hitting negative right now, which means more errors than kills. Starts with ball control to help their freshman setter out.
Keogh gets the ace. She's been tough beyond the service line. She had 4 aces in the semis. She's got 2 here tonight. Another point for Stanford.
Point Cardinal.
Keogh talks about loving the pressure situations. I want to have the responsibility and the power to affect everything that happens on the floor. Rolled off the tape and wide for Girard. Point for Nebraska to give them the lead back.
Rachel Schwartz.
Rachel Schwartz serving. They continue to serve to Fishburne. Barboza gets the kill.
And that's a trend we've seen all season long with opponents playing Stanford. Jessica Fishburne is the ball control specialist in the libero, but she's 6 feet tall, and quite honestly, I'm not sure she's the best passer on this Stanford squad. Normally, you never serve the player in the other jersey, but in this case, you do.
Jordan Larson. Stanford there defensively. Barboza. Right to Pavin. Stalls one of those middles. They look to her on the outside. Stalls got a piece of that Richards attack. And pushed wide by Holloway.
imagine what it must be like for her. Freshman year, setting in the national championship match. I asked her about butterflies, and she said, yeah, I get butterflies, but they're gone once I leave the hotel. She said, once I get into the gym and when the anthem's playing, I get fired up, which I found surprising because I had jitters throughout the anthem, and usually throughout the first half of the first game, it takes a while to settle down. So for a freshman to say that talks about her competitive nature.
The point for Stanford. As they go back up by one. Holloway, quite the personality. We've already talked about the battle for the starting job that she won over both of the starters from a year ago when they were running the 6-2.
She's got beautiful hands, though, and such a competitive spirit.
Barboza's pass is out.
The thing we talked about with Rachel Holloway, she's trained in the Front Range Club program, which is in Colorado, and really has a reputation for not establishing and running the middle as much. They're more of a high outside type of volleyball mentality, so I think that's affected her here this freshman year. She doesn't go to the middle as naturally as some other setters might.
Keogh goes to Richards for the kill.
Kill by Kristen Richards, point Cardinal.
Kristen Richards, another one of the very deep, talented hitters for Stanford, having a great night. Now 6 kills for the senior, playing in the last match of her career.
Game 1 went down to the wire. Stanford responded better than Nebraska to win it. Tight again down to the finish of game 2. Cooper, the other freshman starter for Nebraska.
You hear the fans all yelling "Coop" in response to the kill by the freshman.
Among them, I think her dad Rick, who is looking on tonight. He's a college basketball coach in Texas. They had a game tonight, and he had to pick blood over the rest of his basketball team.
And it's pretty amazing when you consider he coaches at West Texas A&M, the basketball team. They're playing his alma mater, Wayland Baptist.
Big rivalry.
And he's not there.
He opted to come watch his daughter play for the national championship tonight. Mancuso dug up, but Pavin is right there to clean it up. Double-digit kills now for Pavin. Danny Busboom serving, the senior from Cortland, Nebraska. There is not a stoplight in town. That's how small Cortland is, under 50 people in Busboom's graduating class. A small school Nebraska youngster, always dreamed of donning the jersey, now starting in Omaha in the national championship.
Stanford. That's our second timeout.
A sold-out Quest Center in Omaha, Nebraska. Over 17,000 on hand to watch Stanford seeking a 7th NCAA title, and top-seeded Nebraska looking for a 3rd national championship. Beth Mullins, along with Heather Cox, were only about an hour away from Nebraska's campus down in Lincoln. In this volleyball-crazed state, they've been looking forward to this moment and the opportunity to cheer on their beloved Huskers in the national championship match. Game 1 went to Stanford, so the Big Red trying to even things up. They have been the dominant forces over the last 12 years in women's college volleyball, and there's their total history.
Unbelievable, 8 national titles, but Beth, I truly believe this could be a program-changing night for Nebraska. If it doesn't win the national championship, it'll be one of the greatest disappointments because they have been the most successful program in this decade, and to not win a title after having 3 #1 seeds would be devastating.
One thing that we've talked about quite a bit, the back row attacks
Well, and what I love, both teams are using them as offensive weapons, not just as outlets. Stanford's done a great job using them with Kristen Richards. She's a back row player right here, right there. She's got to hit behind this 10-foot line. You'll see Bryn Kehoe set her a few feet in front of that line, and she attacks out of the back row. You can attack out of the back row again if you stay behind that white line. If you're a front row player, you can attack at the net, but the best teams use their best hitters in all 6 rotations.
Nebraska serving, leading by 1. It's to 30, must win by 2. Barboza, long, she wanted a touch, won't get the call. Cynthia Barboza, relatively quiet thus far. A couple kills in game 1 and only a couple here in game 2. She's hitting at 0 now for the match.
And she's got to step it up, and right now is when you see the true heart of a champion defined. I call them points in crunch time, anything after 25. On the season, Stanford's been the better team in tight games.
Akinradawo gets the kill. Stanford within 1. Faluka will go back to serve.
Barboza in the front row with Kehoe.
Holloway looks to Pavin. Barboza and Pavin at the net. Falls on the Stanford side. Chance now for the Huskers. Quick set to Stalls in the middle.
Stalls is just about as tough as they come. She needs to demand the ball. This is a 31 attack, 3 feet away from the setter, 1 foot above. It gets her past the blocker.
6 kills, 4 digs for Stalls. She's also got a couple of blocks tonight. Pavitt with the rocket. Holloway to Mancuso. Down the line.
And Beth, this is a critical rotation. This is Nebraska's best point scoring rotation because Pavin is just so lethal from the service line. I jinxed her.
And then into the net service error.
She served 10 in a row to change the tide in the match against UCLA in the semis. That's a huge break for the Stanford Cardinal.
And now Kehoe, who has put together a couple of good runs for the Cardinal on her serve. Stalls got it. And it's game point for Nebraska. They've got 3 of them stacked up now. National championship. We'll take a break in Omaha. Stanford winning game 1. Nebraska taking game 2. Welcome back to our NCAA volleyball championship coverage on ESPN2. Stanford winning game 1, Nebraska tying it up by taking game 2. This would be a 3rd national championship if Nebraska can win it. Let's go back to their first. And that man right there, Terry Pettit, jumping for joy in Amherst, Massachusetts, with the win over Texas to win the 95 title. And Terry Pettit now joining us courtside. And Terry, we've been reminiscing a little bit. When you first arrived, there were maybe 1,000 people per game coming to watch the Huskers.
Right.
How impressive is all this? 17,000 now, and
well,
you had a hand in a lot of this.
I had a hand in it, but hundreds of other people did too. And it's really the sign of collaboration. The city of Omaha, the Omaha Sports Commission. Something like this doesn't happen because one person does something. The state has embraced the sport. The people here aren't big event people, they're volleyball fans. So it's, I hope that it becomes a kind of a kickoff for bigger things across the country.
Coach, when you came to Lincoln more than 20 years ago, is this what you thought you could build, or does this even exceed your wildest imagination?
Certainly initially I didn't have this vision. I was just trying to keep my job. But, so, I would say 15 years ago we thought this could happen. mostly because of the Nebraska fans' loyalty to the university and the incredible women that we had at the university. We always had great institutional support. We had corporate sponsors that understood opportunity for women. So I think we had 14,000 10 years ago at the Devaney Center. So this didn't surprise me. As a matter of fact, when I made the presentation to have it here, I said we will sell out in a day, and that's what happened.
You were right. And Coach, you're one of the great coaching minds. And in fact, now you're a coaching consultant in Colorado Springs. So what would you be doing in the locker room of both teams? They're split right now. Give us your coaching guru advice to both of these squads.
Well, the errors have been, in my opinion, two things. The old suspect, reception errors, passing. The second thing is there's been some poor decisions. And it isn't because these people normally make poor decisions. It's because of the weight on the match. So you've seen setters who've maybe underset in some situations, or they've been pushed back and set the ball straight up instead of taking it back. But there's been some courageous play out there. Jordan Larson's play has been phenomenal. I think Stanford does so many things well, great tempo. The key for Nebraska, if they get the ball in system, I think they can win the match.
Well, thank you very much, Terry. We're courtside, but it feels like we're in the locker room. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you, and thank the Deuce.
And congratulations on all that you've built.
Thanks.
A wonderful evening, a wonderful weekend in Omaha with another record crowd on hand for the national championship. We're tied at 1 apiece. National Player of the Year, Sarah Pavin, one of the reasons why. 11 kills on the night. The Nebraska Huskers bouncing back from their Game 1 loss to even up the match at 1 apiece in their quest for a third national championship, trying to deny Stanford the program's 7th title ever. It is now a best 2 of 3 to take home the trophy. The number 1 and number 2 seeds meeting to determine the championship here in Omaha. Nebraska finishing up that Game 2, Heather, on a 6-2 run to win it.
And in this case, stats speak volumes. The difference between Game 1 and 2. Look at that, Nebraska, 4 blocks all in Game 2, and now out hitting Stanford because Stanford hit just 0-7-0 in Game 2. Larson's been phenomenal for Nebraska, as Coach Pettit mentioned. 11 kills, but hitting 500 night and day from the semifinal appearance.
And Heather, we are a part of history here tonight. For more on that, public address announcer Steve Johnson.
Ladies and gentlemen, the previous NCAA single match record set Thursday night was 17,013. Tonight, NCAA single match record 17,209. Congratulations.
They have been treated to a gem of a match thus far. Stanford winning Game 1 in the dark jerseys. Nebraska winning Game 2 in the white jerseys.
I want to know where they found those extra 200 seats.
They may be standing on the concourse. And Stanford starts out with the first point of the third game. Barboza has been quiet thus far. She averages 4 kills a game. She's only got 4 in the match. And Pavin with 10. Jordan Larson, who's been a real difference maker for Nebraska. And that attack wide, point Nebraska.
And Beth, I think the problem with Cynthia Barboza, she's just playing too cautious. She's got to play with reckless abandon. We've seen her be athletic and powerful, but in this match, she's just being very tentative, doesn't want to make the error.
Keel looking for Waller for the kill. We talk about Cynthia Barboza as the next in line, the Odin sisters. You talk about Focal, Ifejika Sharpley winning those 3 national championships in the 90s. Logan Tom, Carrie Walsh, and most recently Ogana Namana. Barboza, to solidify her status amongst that group, will need a championship performance.
The one constant thread throughout all of that Stanford success hasn't been John Dunning or Don Shaw. It's been Denise Corlett right there in the glasses, associate head coach. Has been here for 9 title matches in the last 15 years. Has been the one constant. Every picture you see of the national title team, Denise Corlett's been there, an incredible athlete as well. An All-American in 3 different sports at UCLA, badminton, volleyball, and basketball. Won a national championship in both badminton and basketball.
And not in her first love, which was volleyball. A couple of second places, a couple of third places. Her picture is the only one in every championship photo.
Kill by Feluca Akinrado, point Cardinal.
And it was Cynthia Barboza who sent Denise Corlett a picture when she was still in grade school.
When Cynthia was in 7th grade, she sent a drawing of herself on a hill with a volleyball in her hand that said, Denise, I want to come to Stanford. Talk about making your dreams come true. Cynthia Barboza, the youngest alternate ever named to a U.S. Olympic team when she was named as the alternate for the 2004 Athens U.S. squad.
Head coach John Dunning marvels at her ability to bounce back from the ACL injury a year ago and playing completely unaffected all season. Akinrado with the kill.
In fact, Cynthia Barboza adjusted her class schedule in order to be in the training room when she needed to be at 7 a.m. every morning to get that knee as healthy as possible. Throughout the season, interestingly, she doesn't wear a brace while she plays, but off the court, she's been wearing a titanium knee brace to try and help with the pain and the swelling.
Danny Mancuso gets the kill.
Point Nebraska. Into the Husker lineup.
That's 8 now for Danny, who will depart the match.
Barboza from day one, first day in fall camp, didn't wear that knee brace, and I agree with that. After my knee surgeries, I didn't like wearing a brace because you think about it all the time, and you never want to play tentative, being afraid that you're going to get hurt again, because that's when you do.
John Dunning, right from the start this year, they have not practiced as much as they have in the past because he wanted everybody to be healthy for this weekend.
And knock on wood, he said, we are. This is one of the first times he's come into a championship as healthy as they are. Certainly Barboza and Richards and Gerard playing on sore joints, but not affecting their performance.
They opted not to practice yesterday.
That's a bad call, too. Wow. Sorry, Beth.
That one appeared to be
the player in me
the
is
line.
getting a little feisty.
Our location is right along that back line. You had a great view of it, Heather.
I'm going to take that flag away.
Schwartz serving for Nebraska. She has been tough tonight. That's her 3rd ace.
And I think John Dunning and his coaching staff need to make an adjustment. Right now, Jessica Fishburne is truly the target. You see the player in white right here. She's standing in the middle of the court because her job is to take the majority of those serves, but there's just too much movement and she needs some help.
Stanford responds. Akinrado now with 8 kills to join Richards and Waller as the team leaders. Overpass. Barboza got an easy one there. Point Stanford.
Both teams turning up the notch a bit with their service, forcing both teams into bad passing. You know, every coach will tell you serve and pass is the key, but you know, it really is.
Yep.
If you can't get a pass to your setter, it's really tough to score points.
Holloway to Larson. Keogh had to play it over on 2. Back to Jordan Larson. Back row, Richards swooping in for the kill.
Kill by NCAA, point Cardinal.
Nebraska's lead cut to 1. The home crowd here in Omaha trying to stir things up for the Huskers. Larson looking for a touch. Stanford said no, but referee Mary Blaylock said yes.
And Jordan Larson can do no wrong. Now 11 kills, no errors. She has truly been the X factor for Nebraska.
She's already got the double-double with 11 digs as well. And push that one back across for another kill.
We talk about the t-shirts that they wear in practice every day. Jordan Larson says passion, and she is playing with that fire and passion tonight.
And the Huskers were 25-1 over the course of her 2-year career when she has a double-double, which she's got tonight. As Barboza responds with the kill. Larson, boy, she's got to feel so much better than she did a year ago when she had 1 kill in 20 attacks in the championship loss last December against Washington.
And that was her freshman year, and Coach Cook says that she was just run down at that point in the season. Very tough for a freshman to go through a collegiate season.
Pavin with the set to Larson, right at Richards. Kristen got up to take the swing. Larson with the roll. Busboom digs it up. Pavin, back row.
Back to serve for the Huskers, Rachel Holloway.
Nebraska scoring points in transition. It starts with Fishberg keeping the ball alive, but Pavin just too much power. That was an example of back row attack after back row attack with Kristen Richards and Sarah Pavin because they're not able to get the ball control to run the hits in the front.
Net violation on Nebraska.
Net violation on Nebraska gives Stanford the point.
Cynthia Barboza.
Barboza to serve.
In the Cardinal lineup, Lizzie Suter.
She had 3 aces in the semi. She does not have one yet tonight.
She's playing to get the serve in instead of going for the ace.
Long on that attempt. Point Nebraska.
Into the Husker lineup is Danny Mancuso. Back to serve, Jordan Larson.
Kehoe directing traffic, and now Jordan Larson to serve. The ace. Nobody home in the back corner for Stanford.
Watch the unusual approach, and she gets so much topspin. Deep corners impossible to get.
A timeout at the national championship, all tied up at 1 game apiece. The NCAA Women's Volleyball Championship presented on ESPN2 by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. A record crowd at the Quest Center in Omaha, tied at 1 game apiece. Stanford leading in Game 3 for the national championship. Nebraska has been #1 from day 1 and trying to complete the season as the top-ranked team. Stanford with 5 errors in this 3rd game. Nebraska with none.
And that's truly been the key. Nebraska serving tough, making Stanford very predictable at the net. They're not running the middle.
Aaron Waller with the kill. The other thing Nebraska has been able to do has been to keep Cynthia Barboza quiet. 6 kills and 6 errors so far in the match.
Yeah, Barboza needs to start playing with more confidence. Like the All-American that we've seen all season long, she can take over a match.
Kehoe to Waller, able to get it through the block. And
sorry, Beth, just Waller was such a huge component of Stanford's offense in Game 1, and now she's starting to come alive in Game 3. And just one more player that Nebraska has to keep their eye on.
30 kills in their last 3 matches for Aaron Waller. Pavin. Stanford with the defense. Waller off the block.
And now Bryn Kehoe, the veteran setter for Stanford, is starting to redirect the ball. I think that's something that both setters could focus more on, is changing the direction of the ball so that the defense has to change directions too.
Out of the timeout, 3 points in a row for the Cardinal. Fishburne the long floater. Mancuso through the block and down.
By Danny Mancuso. Point Nebraska. Into the Husker lineup, Tracy Stahl.
Danny Mancuso trying to give her parents a wedding anniversary present. They are celebrating today. Mike and Billy are both in attendance. Ooh, Akinradawo, big at the net.
And she's been quiet only because she hasn't been getting set. Bryn Kehoe, I think, needs to focus a little bit more on running the middle, and wouldn't surprise me if that's what Coach Denning talked to his team about during that last timeout to spark, I think now 4-0 run.
Holloway looking to Mancuso. Another kill for Danny.
Mancuso, point Nebraska.
Mancuso just filling huge shoes, moved into the starting position when Christina Hoteling, last year's National Player of the Year, got hurt in the summer. And she has done a superb job all season long.
Pavin on the serve. Richards gets the kill. Of course, baseball fans very familiar with Omaha. It's where the College World Series is every year. Danny Mancuso, the first job that she ever had was selling popcorn out at Rosenblatt Stadium in Omaha at the College World Series. And here she is playing for the national championship herself. Off the stall solo block and the kill for Stanford. From right here in Omaha, a chance to play at home for the championship. Keogh looking at Richards out of the back. And the point for Nebraska, ending a 7-2 Stanford run.
Got to keep our eye on Cynthia Barboza. She, on that last play, trying to get the cover, looked a little slow getting up, almost like she slipped on the sport court.
Rachel Schwartz now with those 3 aces already tonight. Keogh looks to Barboza.
She's okay.
Able to elevate on that one.
Well, John Dunning has talked about her toughness since day one, injuring her ACL last year with 11 matches to go in the season, making one of the quickest returns to the court we've seen in some time.
Was an alternate on the Olympic team when she was still in high school, was Cynthia Barboza. And now Stalls will serve on the other side for Nebraska. Up by 1 here in game 3, looking to take control of the match. Solo block for Larson. Finesse from Kristen Richards with the changeup.
Into the Stanford lineup.
11 kills now for Kristen.
And they are relying a ton on Kristen Richards. She's taken more swings than anybody, almost by a double. Because they've been out of system so much, they're using her a lot out of the back row.
Barboza, set was a bit behind her. Pavin out of the back off the tape. Barboza looking to set Wall. Larson.
Kill by Jordan Larson, point Nebraska. Back to serve for the Huskers.
A capacity crowd at Quest Center in Omaha, the largest crowd ever to watch a women's college volleyball game in the United States. Stanford looking for a 7th NCAA title, Nebraska looking for their 3rd. They have been the dominant programs of the last decade in women's college volleyball, meeting for the first time ever in the final. Stanford took game 1, Nebraska game 2, even here in the 3rd. Jordan Larson with 14 kills, leading the way for Nebraska. That one missed wide, point for Stanford. You talk about Jordan Larson and Sarah Pavin, the National Player of the Year. They are the best combo ever at Nebraska, combining for 9 kills per game.
Which is hard to believe when you think of all the great hitters that have come through this Husker program, but the 2 of them have carried the majority of the offensive load for Nebraska this season. Pavin being awarded the National Player of the Year honor last night, saying, "My season wouldn't be complete, though, without a win tonight."
Keogh to Richards. Holloway looking for Larson out of the back. Keogh back to Richards. Chicken winged back up by Larson. And the kill for Aaron Waller. Nebraska back here in the championship match for the 2nd year in a row after a disappointing loss to Washington in last year's final when they were the prohibitive favorites to win it all.
And John Cook has said that loss has really influenced every decision he's made as a coach this year. And it's put a lot of pressure on this Husker team as well, so much so that for about the first 2 months of the season, they flat out admitted they weren't having fun, to the point where John Cook, after a 3-game win, asked him if they enjoyed it, and they said no. So he did something I've never heard a coach do. He said, "Guys, I take all responsibility for the rest of the season and whether or not we win a title. You guys just go out and play and have fun. since then, John has said it's all been on his shoulders, and the players have just gotten to go out and perform.
And John Cook will call the timeout. Nebraska has been so good in state, 57 wins in a row, dating back to September of 2004. This, of course, being the most important one that they want to get. They are down in game 3. Our match is all tied up at 1. The NCAA Women's Volleyball National Championship match. Stanford a winner in game 1, Nebraska taking game 2, and the Cardinal with the lead here in game 3. It has been as good as advertised. Tremendous athleticism on both sides of the net. A couple of All-Americans, Cynthia Barboza and Sarah Pavin. 12 kills for Pavin. Barboza with 7 on the night.
Serving for the Cardinal, Jessica Fishburne.
Again, I think Cynthia Barboza playing a little bit tentative. Sarah Pavin came out on fire from the first point of this match.
Danny Busboom with the pass to Holloway. This is Pavin. Played back across by the Cardinal. Pavin calling for it again. Missed it wide.
It is wide. Point Stanford.
One of the things that Pavin has talked about, I did not demand the ball enough last year in their losing effort against Washington in the championship. You could hear all the way over here courtside saying, bring it back to me.
Yeah, she has not had a poor postseason game in her career at Nebraska. The problem last year was they just didn't use her enough.
Martin tried to tip. Busboom able to track it down. Larson denied out of the back. The bump to Kristen Richards. Got it.
Kill by Kristen Richards.
We talked about Sarah Pavin last year in the 3-game loss to Washington. She put up some good numbers. She just didn't get to be as effective as she'd like. She had 16 kills, hit .429, but she could have had 30 kills if they'd continued to go to her.
It's a 10-4 run right now by Stanford. Amanda Gates has come on now in the middle for Nebraska. Mancuso long. An 11-4 run for the Cardinal.
And Gates was a specialty substitution, a great blocker. John Cook hoping that she'd score a quick point on defense. Now Tracy Stahl's back into the game.
Busboom getting instructions from the bench. Serves it at Barboza. Martin dug up by Holloway. Jordan Larson out of the back. Fishburne was there, but it goes wide of the antenna. Point Nebraska.
Jordan Larson. Point Nebraska.
Ball control continues to plague Stanford. When it's not scoring points, it's not controlling the ball.
Off the block and wide, Aaron Waller continues to have her best night of the season.
14 kills now, a new career high. Her previous career high, 13 against the Bruins earlier this year.
The sophomore, former Missouri High School Player of the Year. She's been dynamite in the postseason. Kehoe and Akinradawo with the rejection. And John Cook will have to use his second timeout.
Timeout, Nebraska. That's their second timeout.
So Nebraska without a timeout for the rest of game 3. And on the other side, things are rolling right now for the Cardinal, looking for their 7th national championship. Here's what the current players think about the Cardinal tradition.
When I think of Stanford volleyball, I think of a tradition of excellence.
26 NCAA tournament appearances.
Six national championships.
I think of my second family and a home away from home.
Greatest experiences of my life.
6 NCAA titles, all coming in the last 14 years. They've won more tournament games than any other program in the 26-year history of this tournament. This is their 12th time playing for the national championship.
Truly amazing, the legacy. And I asked John Dunning what keeps him continuing to seek success and get better and better every year. 2 national titles at Pacific, those 2 titles at Stanford And you know what he said? He said, every year I add something to this program. I don't get complacent. It's advice that Terry Liskevich, the former Pacific coach, gave him. And each year he adds something new to this program. This year it was an overseas trip to Italy, where they were able to bond over the summer, and it's helped him get here.
Pavin gets the kill. He made the right moves during the one timeout that he called early. Coach Dunning with his team struggling early in game 3. Since then, 16-9, they have outscored Nebraska, forcing John Cook to use both of his timeouts here.
I think John Dunning, one of the best coaches there is at making changes during a timeout that can impact the match.
That one put a smile on his face. 26-22 here in game 3. Richards continues to impress now. 12 kills. Akin-Radaway with 11. 15 for Waller. And Holloway, the center, gets the kill.
And not the first time Rachel Holloway, the freshman's been successful with an attack. As the setter, typically on that second ball, you're setting your hitters, but it's a good deceptive move if you do it aggressively to attack that second ball.
Her first kill of the match, Rachel Schwartz. Keogh looking for Barboza, and she is stuffed.
And that's Barboza's bread and butter. She loves the 32. It's inside the middle of the court instead of way out here where an outside hitter normally hits, but Nebraska does a perfect job adjusting to it.
Larson and Stalls were there waiting for her. That time they could not get the block up, and the Huskers were into the net. Point Stanford to make it a 3-point lead late in game 3. Cross boom to Holloway, looking for Pavin out of the back with the crusher.
And it all starts with the beautiful pass. The libero, Danny Busboom, giving Rachel Holloway every opportunity to set a flawless match.
Holloway with now 43 assists. Keogh's got 46. Chance here for the Huskers. They go to Jordan Larson. That pass shanked into the crowd.
Again, ball control. The key to good ball control, you can tell when they've got it, and it's because the setter's not moving. The ball goes right up to the setter, allowing Jordan Larson to hit right through the seam in the Stanford block.
Larson with the double-double.
She'll go down the line, deep corner.
Keogh bumps it to Barboza. Boy, she just cannot find her rhythm. Another big block from Nebraska. Timeout, Stanford.
And if you're John Dunning and company, you're wondering, what can you do to get Cynthia Barboza on track? Just swinging very tentatively without confidence. And this is a player that's led Stanford to this point. They need to ride her if they're going to win a title.
She has gotten stuffed twice now late in this game. And as you mentioned, Heather, this is the point in time where they usually look to her to close the deal.
And especially if they don't have the ball control, because as an outside hitter, you're getting all the sets that can't go to the middle. Right now, Cynthia Barboza hitting 0, which means 8 kills, 8 errors. If they can't run the middle, they're going to have to rely on Barboza.
Well, NCAAsports.com is the official online home for all 88 NCAA championships. For an in-depth recap, post-game comments from coaches and players, and the official stats of tonight's championship match, log on to NCAAsports.com, where you might find out that Stanford tonight is going for the school's 94th NCAA team championship. And as our crack statistician Michael Sondheimer quickly points out, UCLA has the record with 99 team
and our
titles.
Crack stat happens to be a Bruin. Sarah Pavin doing everything she can for this squad. And you saw while you were talking about Enterprise, behind that were two familiar faces to volleyball fans, Terry Pettit and Mick Haley, talking a little X's and O's during the timeout. What would I do if I had the luxury of being in this position?
Mick Haley winning back-to-back titles with USC earlier this decade. I believe that's who Pettit beat for the national championship too, didn't he, in '95?
Indeed, when he was at Texas.
Stanford now, again, they've been so good in tight matches all year long.
Larson ties it back up. She is just having a monster match. Win game 3, you are 1 game away from the title. Larson with the stuff. Game point, Huskers. Keogh to Gerard. Here's a chance for Nebraska. Pavin. The Huskers 1 game away from getting the party started in Omaha. Who has the power? Who can persevere? A national championship at stake. Number 1 Nebraska and number 2 Stanford. We move to game 4 with the Huskers in control in front of over 17,000 packed into Quest Center. They've been waiting all year for the chance to cheer on the Huskers.
And this match just so even statistically. In that game 3, both teams played phenomenally. The difference, Nebraska's gotten 8 blocks in the last 2 games after not having any. Other than that, back and forth, just a seesaw battle. I think the key is Stanford's big gun has not performed to the level that she's accustomed to, while Nebraska's has.
6 NCAA titles for Stanford, 2 for Nebraska. A combined 18 trips to the final for these 2 programs in the 26-year history of this tournament. It's as good as advertised. Both teams hit better than 300 in that 3rd game. Larson and Pavin have combined for 33 kills, while Cynthia Barboza, 9 kills and 8 errors. And they went on a 9-3 run to close out game 3 to take control of the match.
Really gave Stanford a taste of its own medicine. That's what Stanford's excelled in all season. And the wheels are coming off for Stanford. You're seeing breakdowns in defense, breakdowns in blocking, and breakdowns in passing. Credit Nebraska for upping its level of play.
Jordan Larson with the big serve. Keogh. Waller with another kill as she continues to add to her career high now with 16.
She's really picking up the slack for Barboza, and because they haven't been able to run the middle as much, they've relied on her.
Barboza with the service error.
Into the Husker lineup is Tracy Stalls. Back to serve, Danny Busboom.
Danny Busboom to serve in that number 18 jersey. She idolized former Husker great Allison Weston growing up.
Kill by Francie
Gerard gets the kill. Weston, of course, wore that 18 jersey.
Back to serve, Jessica Fishburne.
She's really the face of Nebraska volleyball when it came and got on the map. I mean, it was all about Allison Weston and everything that she did for this program.
Sarah Pavin. Things going Nebraska's way to start out game 4.
Point Huskers. Back to serve for Nebraska, Sarah Pavin.
Start to see a bit of frustration on the Stanford side of the net. Waller again sliding behind. What a get by Busboom to keep it up. And Pavin with the finish cross court.
And John Dunning told us before the match the key is digging Pavin. We're not going to block her. And for about the last 5 kills, they've been unable to do that. Pavin going inside the block this time, and Stanford just turning and looking at each other.
The body language not good right now for the Cardinal. Keogh looking to Richards. Wow. Pavin with good defense. Stalls knocked it over. Back to Pavin. Rejected by Richards, the senior who wants to go out with another title.
And Richards has quietly put this team on her back. She's passing, she's taking balls away from people because she knows that she's the better passer. She's blocking, she's hitting out of the back row. She's doing everything she can.
There she is again at the net with the solo rejection. There was a chance for Stanford. They go right back to Richards, and she gets the kill.
Kill by Kristen Richards.
This is exactly what she did against Missouri. Believe it or not, Stanford was down against Missouri in Game 5. She knew that there was about 10 minutes left in her career, and she didn't bail out. Instead, she took over.
Richards has the double-double tonight as well. Stanford can pick up another one. Akinrado knocks it down. And Stanford has come back to tie it up.
And how quickly the momentum can turn. Run the middle, get your senior leader to take over, and boom, you're back in it.
And Ginamani serving. Larson out of the back. Akinrado put it right off of Larson's noggin.
Point Stanford.
Service error, point Huskers.
Into the Husker lineup.
Western wisely let that one go.
Schwartz.
Rachel Schwartz to serve in a tie game here in the 4th. Barboza, the pass to Keogh, looking to Richards. Missed that one wide with only one blocker up.
Yeah, that's something you don't see very often, and she knows it. Wide open court with just one-on-one. Advantage goes to the hitter. If you've got 2 blockers up, the advantage goes to the block most of the time.
Over 20 hitting errors apiece, and the service error.
Wide point Stanford. Back to serve for the Cardinal, Kristen Richards.
Back-to-back miscues on both sides of the net. Now Richards will serve. Holloway goes to Larson. Whoa, right off of Namani.
Jordan Larson. Point
with the facial.
Into the Husker lineup, Amanda Gate.
The friendly 6-pack by Jordan Larson. Look at her nail it down the line. Boom. NG right where she's supposed to be, but wasn't expecting all that power.
Keogh. Akinrado finds the deep corner.
Point Stanford. In for the Cardinal, Francie Gerard serving Feluca Akinrado.
Akinrado will serve. Holloway. Missing it long is Amanda Gates.
And interesting that John Cook has used Gates here in Game 4, used her in Game 3 as well. Known for her good defense and ability to block, not as much for her offense.
Good bounce for the Cardinal. Good defense from the Huskers. Big point there for Nebraska.
Point Nebraska. Holloway to serve for the Huskers.
Keogh. And the block. Gates and Larson were there. Nebraska with the edge in blocking. Dominated by Stanford in Game 1, but they have responded.
No communication for the Cardinal.
Larson. Cannot make them pay. Barboza. Off the block and wide.
By Cynthia Barboza, point Stanford. Into the Cardinal lineup is Aaron Waller.
Cardinal.
Back to serve Bryn Kehoe.
If they try and establish their All-American a little bit, picking up her 10th kill. 4 different Cardinal now in double digits.
Back down. The tip. Oh, what a play by Larson to come swooping in and keep it on the other side. Gerard thought it was wide open.
And Larson just in the zone. Look at the athleticism, swooping in from the right side of the court. She is going so aggressively to every play.
Struggled in the semis, and she has been awesome here in the final.
By Cynthia Barboza. Point Stanford.
Barboza gets the point, but 6 kills in the semis and 18 tonight.
She could have gone in either direction tonight, and it talks about her mental toughness, the way she's performed this evening.
Mancuso off the fingers.
Mancuso. Point Nebraska.
Point for the Huskers.
Into the Husker lineup is Tracy Stahl serving Danny Busboom.
Mancuso now into double digits with 10 kills.
Watch him serve the middle of the court to Fishburne.
Waller blocked. Mancuso installs. Nebraska taking ownership of the net now.
And Nebraska has not been known as a blocking team this year. In the past, that's been their bread and butter, but this year, they're known more for being a scrambling defensive team. Usually every year they lead the nation in blocking, but 19th this year.
Richards sent back by Pavin.
Stats don't tell the whole story, though. When push comes to shove, blocking ruling supreme for the Huskers.
Especially here in game 4, timeout Stanford. They must win or it is over. Pavin with the message. Over 17,000 on hand. A new collegiate record crowd at Quest Center in Omaha. #1 Nebraska and #2 Stanford. The two dominant programs of the last decade in women's college volleyball meeting for the first time ever in the national championship match. Nebraska leading 2-1, and they can close it out and take home the title. About an hour's ride from here back to Lincoln. Well, they can win this 4th game. Nebraska in white, Stanford in the dark jerseys, and a point for the Cardinal.
By Francie Gerard, point Stanford.
The Huskers have been so good in their home state, 57 matches in a row, including 6 in this building over the last 2 seasons.
And one of the great home court advantages in Omaha at the Coliseum, a venue just for volleyball, sells out every night.
90 consecutive sellouts on their home court for Nebraska. One of the amazing programs that was engineered by Terry Pettit and now John Cook. And the Cardinal, well, they're going for the 7th NCAA title. John Dunning, his 5th as a head coach. That would be the most ever.
Kill by Sarah Pavin. Point Nebraska. Back to serve for the Huskers, Sarah Pavin.
Of course, the history tonight starts with just the folks here at the Quest Center. 17,209 sold out in a day. Sold out actually quicker than the Paul McCartney concert that went on sale around the same time. Akinrado with the kill. Not that we would condone such behavior, but they were scalping tickets out front. They've been lined up for hours waiting to get inside the building.
This whole city has been a sea of red all week long. The key for Stanford, quiet that sea of red in this game.
Akinrado, there's Busboom. Off of Richards, and Pavin's got another kill. That's 19 now on the night. She and Jordan Larson have combined for 37 in the match.
And no surprise, that's been the duo that's led this team all season long.
Rachel Schwartz serving. Keogh, Akinrado, Busboom again. The libero there with the defense.
Back row attack.
Back row attack whistled against
Pavin.
Back to serve for the Cardinal, Kristen Richards.
Pavin, as a back row player, has to take off behind the white 10-foot line, otherwise it's illegal.
Richards floats one. Stalls, knocks it through the floor.
Stahl's dad, very proud. Her dad, Dave, played for both the Raiders and the Cowboys in a Super Bowl. No surprise where she got her athleticism from.
The junior from Denver. Oh, Hawken, pounds the sport court.
There's Dave. Let's see any Super Bowl rings on those fingers. Oh, there it is. There's some serious bling. The nice wedding band, and then boom.
Daughter looking to pick up some bling of her own with a championship. That one missed wide. Point Stanford.
Point Stanford.
They have been the #1 seed heading into the NCAA tournament the last 2 years and could not get the title. They're the #1 seed again this season. Dealing with that pressure all season long and having the chance to play pretty much at home here in the semis and in the final. And John Dunning and the Cardinal, they just keep rolling along. They're looking for a 7th title here tonight. Another tough serve, and Fishburne can't handle it.
And John Dunning, doing everything he can think of, has brought in Lizzie Suter off the bench in the middle, but the passing has truly been what's plagued them. No communication, and Nebraska has just attacked Jessica Fishburne all night long.
Barboza kept up by Nebraska. Chance for the Huskers. They go to Pavin.
Oh, Lizzie Suter saying she didn't touch that ball. If she didn't, then that's a great play by Stanford. John Dunning up off the bench, asking our down official, Kathy Ferrucchio, whether or not she saw a touch.
The point goes to Nebraska. They are up 4 now.
Now watch number 13 right here in the middle of the court. As she comes down, the ball gets popped up. Now does she touch it right here? I think she swings and misses. If that's the case, there's the second contact and there's the third. Hard to say. We have a benefit of replay. They don't.
Keogh looking for Gerard for the kill.
By Francie Gerard. Point Stanford. Into the Cardinal lineup is Aaron
10
Waller.
kills now for Gerard as Waller returns and Namani goes out. Rin Keogh serving. Holloway to Pavin.
How many times have we seen Sarah Pavin hit and the ball touches the ground without any Stanford defender being near it? They've got to make some adjustments to their defense.
She is finding the holes right now, and Stanford will call a timeout. Danny Busboom, the senior libero, will explain her job in that dark jersey when we come back. Nebraska 8 points away from a national championship. The libero's a special player with a special job. Here's Danny Busboom with our Home Depot coaching clinic.
My name's Danny Busboom. I'm a senior libero from Cortland, Nebraska. The libero is a defensive specialist that plays only in the back row. I wear a different color jersey than my teammates. I can serve. I can enter the match at any time. I can't block, I can't spike, and I can only set behind the white line.
The co-libero of the year in the Big 12 Conference had a terrific match in the semis, a career high in digs, and she's got 20 more of them here tonight. Looking to end her career with a national championship. The Huskers are getting closer.
And it's amazing to see what Danny Busboom has done for this squad this year. A year ago, the starting setter didn't have a position entering fall camp, won that of the libero, and her theme all year has been love, finding love again for the sport and for her coaching staff following a tumultuous offseason. Very candid.
Waller long.
It is long. Point Nebraska.
6 points from the match. a break.
This is a good point scoring rotation for Stanford with Barboza behind the line. If she goes for it, she can't be tentative from the serve. They need to score points in a hurry. And now Lizzie Suter back into the ball game in the front row. Provide a little bit more athleticism over the injured Girard.
Barboza with the serve. Holloway. Mancuso blocked off of her for the Stanford point.
And making John Dunning look like a genius, bringing Suter in as a blocking specialist.
Holloway looking for Pavin. Through the block.
Into the Cardinal, Francie Girard for the Huskers. Tracy's goal.
Seeing the most animation we've seen out of Sarah's parents all week long.
A lot of the friends and families haven't seen much of the Huskers this year. They've spent all their free time in Lincoln working on their game, hoping they would get a chance to make amends for their disappointing loss in last year's national championship match. Busboom, another good play defensively. Pavin dug up. Richards had to push it over. Busboom, back to Pavin. Waller, pop back over and out of bounds.
Kill by Aaron Waller, point Stanford.
Nebraska
Into the Cardinal lineup.
hovering 3 points away from the title.
And right now, the most important thing for Nebraska, play each point. You cannot think about that trophy. It's the hardest thing in the world not to.
Mancuso blocked. Pop back over by Busboom. Akinladewo dug up. Richards, free ball. Pavin. Kept alive by Stanford. And over. Holloway stalls. 2 points away from their third national championship. Sarah Pavin serving. Stanford will not go away.
Into the Cardinal lineup and serving, NG Namani.
Career high 18 kills for Waller. NG Namani is on. Larson out of the back is blocked. Akinladewo and Richards were there.
One of the few mistakes we've seen from Jordan Larson all night long. Larson, to me, has been the X factor in this match.
Timeout called by Nebraska. The first year that John Cook was here with the Nebraska program, they won the national championship back in 2000. And as we go back in time, playing his former team, the Wisconsin Badgers, it went 5 games as the Badgers put up quite a fight. But in the end, too much of the Huskers. And they win the national championship. They've got 2 championships, looking for their third, to tie UCLA, Hawaii, Long Beach, and USC. Stanford well ahead of the pack with 6 titles.
Right now it's time for Stanford to pull whatever it has left out of its bag onto the floor. So much pressure in such an intimidating environment. John Cook's Nebraska squad has all the momentum in the world right now, especially in rally scoring. You have to be perfect
Stanford without a timeout.
For the Cardinal, NG.
I've seen comebacks like this in rally scoring, but it is hard and it does take perfection.
They need something close to a 7-0 run to do it. Richards, there's one.
Kill by Kristen Richards, point Stanford.
They've scored 3 in a row. Holloway to Stalls, there's 2.
Stop block, Kristen Richards, Volleyball, point Cardinal.
Kristen Richards will do everything in her power to keep her team playing and forcing a 5th and decisive game. It's all about getting Nebraska tight right now.
They trailed 28-21 here in game 4. Nemani just serving to keep it in play. Mancuso. And it's match point, championship point for Nebraska. They will have 4 chances to capture the title. Rachel Schwartz to serve. Missed it long.
Stanford.
Gutsy decision by the Cardinal to let that one slide.
Yeah, if it's close, you play it. I can't imagine the match ending on that.
3 more match points.
They're checking their server. So much on the line, you tend to forget what rotation you're in, who's up to bat.
It'll be Kristen Richards. Back row, Pavin. Blocked. Nemani looks to Barboza. Holloway, Jordan Larson. Back to Barboza for Stanford. And the kill.
By Cynthia Barboza, point Stanford.
They fought off 2 match points. Timeout, Nebraska. What an effort late in game 4 by the Cardinal.
And Stanford's so glad that they've got Kristen Richards at the service line, because don't forget, a missed serve in this match is over. So you want your senior veteran that's not going to be shaking in her boots to serve the ball.
Stanford has taken 6 of the last 7 points before a sold-out crowd at Quest Center in Omaha for the national championship. Stanford looking for their 7th. Nebraska looking for their 3rd. They have squandered 2 match points. They have a couple remaining.
Big question. Sarah Pavin, their big gun, is in the back row. Will Rachel Holloway, the freshman setter, go to Sarah even though she's in the back row? It's a lower percentage shot. Or will she use her younger players in the front row?
Nebraska's quest for this national championship started when they lost in the final a year ago, got swept by Washington in a stunning upset. They have been preparing ever since, knowing that they would be playing in front of their own fans here in Omaha, trying to close out a pesky 2 seed as the Stanford Cardinal have taken 6 of the last 7 points, and we are still at championship point for the Huskers. Holloway to Jordan Larson. It's over. A slice of Husker heaven in Omaha as they win the 2006 national championship.
End to some fabulous careers at Stanford for Kristen Richards, NG Nemani, and Lizzie Suter.
And that concludes tonight's championship match. Our final score, Nebraska
fittingly ended by Jordan Larson, who was spectacular tonight. 19 kills, 15 digs, along with Sarah Pavin. 22 kills, 13 digs.
And the naming of the all-tournament team.
Meanwhile, does Does it get any better than this? Hoisting the national championship trophy in front of 17,000 Husker fans.
They graduated 2 All-Americans. The National Player of the Year got injured and had to redshirt. They've been playing all season with a freshman setter, and they stick together and get the job done.